Good morning, Leilani. How are you today?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day today to have me here. I am eager to hopefully work as a sales rep here for Apple soon.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you're so interested in working for us. We are always looking for motivated individuals to help to sell our products to our customers. Now, one thing I always ask the interviewers is, why did you apply for this sales position?
So, first of all, ever since I've been a child, my family and I have been using the Apple products, whether it's the iMac or MacBook Pro or iPhone or iPad, whatever it might be. We've used all sorts of Apple products and we've gotten very used to using them. And for me, whether it's been for doing research for school or looking up something, whatever it might be, I've gotten really used to using the Apple products and I've become very familiar with them. And because of the experience I've gained from working with Apple over the year, working with the products, I feel like I'd be a good fit selling these devices to the community, as I have some decent knowledge about. But besides my experience with the products, I also have plenty of experience communicating with people and working with people of different ages. And so whether it's selling chocolate bars to families from 4-H or doing projects for school, or maybe even working as a representative for Effort International, where we collect money collect money to buy animals for people around the world. I've worked with all sorts of people, and I've had plenty of experience. Short to say.
Wow, that's cool to hear. It sounds like you have lots of interesting experience with all sorts of people. Is there anything else you would like to share with me about why you applied for this position and why you want to work here?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I actually wanted to mention I'm doing an internship with Apple over the summer. I have a current family member who's working with Apple, and so I'm really excited to both develop my communication skills further and also become much more familiar with the brand I hope to work with in the future.
Okay, good. It's definitely a great idea to take part in internships, as they help you to see what you like about the potential career path you might want to take. They're also great for further developing the particular communication skills needed to successfully interact with people, something which is key in a sales position like
Indeed.
this one. Now that I've gotten to know a little bit about you and why you'd like to work here as a sales rep, I want you to tell me about a time you persuaded someone to do something.
So, a lot of different instances come to me rather quickly, but I'd say one of the more special ones I hold closer to me in my life was when I was back in high school. And for my service hours, I chose to tutor kids reading, so kids that had problems with reading. And for me, it was special because the challenge that came up right away was I had to teach the seemingly basic reading material to these kids who had much harder times learning it than I did. And so the challenge was, okay, how do I get these kids to learn this material, because they oftentimes got frustrated and they weren't willing to learn. So after thinking to myself and asking the head tutor there, I found out that the best way to go about doing this was teaching it through mini games, because the kids not only had more fun, during each session, but they became more and more willing to learn, and they became much more efficient at learning the material. And then, so because after that experience, I became much more efficient at communicating with the little kids, but I also became more efficient with communicating with the older parents and the older tutors there as well. So it was a very beneficial experience to me.
Wow, that's a great story. No matter which way you do it, patience and communication skills are things that should always be improved upon. Now, I'd like to ask you about a time when you used probing questions to get someone to open up and have a good conversation with you.
Cool. So much like the last question, I have lots of memories pop up right away, but one of the more memorable ones was when I was back in high school, and it was the first day of high school, and we were having our pictures taken for our photo IDs. And I was still kind of a quiet guy back then, still kind of now. But I had a harder time initiating conversations, but I wanted to make friends and meet people right away. So what I did was I turned around and said, "What's up?" to the guy behind me. And then I thought, okay, what do I do to keep this thing going? I looked up and saw he had a Giants hat, which is my favorite baseball team. So right away I asked him about that, and we were talking about the team and how the players were doing that year and so on. And then what was cool is later that week, we had the same history class together, and I looked back, I said, "What's up?" to him, and I saw on his computer he had car stickers on it. So I immediately asked him about those. I was interested right away, and we started talking about that, which was really cool. And then before I knew it, we became friends, and we were working on projects all year together, throughout the 4 years we were there.
Wow, it's so great to hear you talking about how you ask questions and how you took interest in other people's lives. You will again learn more about how to improve upon your communication skills, and also you'll be able to learn how to create new relationships, which is key in business. Now, one thing which is equally important to communication skills are organization skills. So, how do you organize and prioritize your work activities for each day, week, and month?
So very much like my dad, who has been a dentist for 30 plus years now, he's a very busy man. For my daily tasks, I create lists. So every morning, or on the weekends more like, but every morning I'll create lists, and on that list I'll write down what I need to get done for the day. Most important things going first, and the least important things going towards the bottom. And that way I go into every day knowing what needs to be done first, and I'm focused. For shorthand, goals. But when it comes to weekly goals, what I'll do is I'll take out my calendar that I have on the wall, and each day, Monday through Sunday, I'll write what needs to be done or what's due that day. That way, I create a sort of impending, due date, deadline sense in my mind. So that way, it's like I better get this done, by today or by tomorrow. And then, but let's say we're extending to a month now. What I do is I keep the list, I keep the calendars, I do all that. But now I talk to friends and family, and I do that because when I talk to them about what I want to get done, what my big things are. I can be reminded by them what I'm supposed to be doing for that month, so I stay focused and I get what needs to be done. And I feel like, over the years I've been working to improve these organization techniques, and, I feel like because of that, I'm becoming more and more prepared for the working world once I'm older.
Sounds like you have your life organized quite well. If someone is not organized, time can be wasted, which could be spent getting important things done. Building off the last question, tell me about a time when you were most satisfied with what you were doing.
So, a lot of different experiences come up in the short 20 years I've lived so far. But one of the most memorable ones for sure, I would say, is when I was working, when I was a representative for Heifer International in my later years of 4-H. And what I did alongside my sister, which was really cool, was we collected funds. We sat outside supermarkets and collected funds for this organization, which, as I mentioned earlier, they use that money to buy farm animals, sheep or pigs, and they send those animals to people in need around the world, and then they educate those people how to use those animals to get the most out of them, whether it's meat, milk, or fur, whatever it might be. We would set out at these markets and educate people about this noble cause, and in the end, when I was done with 4-H and I had to go off to college, I looked back and saw, I felt really good about what I just did, because I was able to not only, help people, not be hungry every single day, but I felt like I was giving them a better chance to have a good life. I just felt really good about that.
That's wonderful. I know I would be satisfied taking part in an organization like that. However, everyone also has times when they are not satisfied with what they're doing and things don't go their way. When have you had a time like this?
So I've had, more times than I can count experiences like that. But one of the more, notable, more influential ones I've had in my life was when I was just starting college as a freshman. And I was coming from high school thinking, I did really good in high school, I should be okay in college, right? That was true for the first quarter, but come winter and spring quarter, I found myself taking much more challenging classes, so chemistry and bio, and I found myself failing nearly, 2 or 3 classes. And, that really, made me upset. I came home thinking, wow, my GPA is just toast for this quarter. But instead of letting that bring me down, I thought to myself, okay, what can I do better to not make this mistake again? What can I do better to get a better GPA the next time around? And what I did was I started using lists and calendars, like I mentioned earlier. And I came back the next quarter much more organized and efficient, and I brought my GPA right back up. And this experience pretty much what it taught me was things will not always go your way. Bad things will happen, but I gotta be able to overcome those challenges and think, what can I do differently?
Well, I can definitely say myself that I have also had my fair share of bad times, but those instances can be turned around and used to improve, like you said. So that's all I've got in the way of questions, and it looks like you have had some great experience communicating and working with a variety of people. Thank you for coming out today, and I'll keep in touch with you about the sales position here.
Okay, thank you, Leilani. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.